This is assignment 4.3.2 by Joey Webben. Today I will be explaining to you about qualitative data collection and the different types of qualitative data collection that there are. Qualitative data collection refers to the emotions of the subjects. In-depth transcription of words, interviews and observational are all ways of data collection. Qualitative data collection is totally the opposite to quant data collection, as it goes into more detail and allows you to get a more in-depth understanding rather than just like numbers and letters. You can actually form an understanding of what they are saying. Different types of the interviews include like focus groups, and observational would be like, it would be where you're observing somebody in their natural environment and you just be noting what happens. It's a very fair way of observing, is you're not manipulating what is going on. They're just in their natural environment. There are quite a few different interview types. There is a structured, unstructured, semi-structured and focus groups. There's a three-step technique to interviewing. Guiding, this is where you're just guiding the person who's being interviewed to give the correct info that you want. Probing, you probe them to be able to get the answers in more detail, and then the follow-up question. And in order to put the person who's being interviewed in at ease, you'd put them in a rapport. The first type of interview type I'll be taking you through is structured interview. This is a set guide that you adhere to without change, regardless of the response. It is basically just closed questions and you have no depth. The advantages of this is that it allows you to focus on the topic. Quantitative data collected, results are easy to generalize as there's less variation on the interview. Analysis is simpler as you're just getting straightforward answers, so you don't have to listen back to the recording, say, and note down all of their responses. You're just getting the answer straightforward there and then. It's closed and pre-closed questions. Disadvantage is it doesn't go into detail, so you can't gain a more in-depth understanding of what you want to do. It doesn't follow up, and you have difficulty obtaining reliable data on feelings, thoughts and attitudes. The second type of interview is an unstructured interview. Unstructured has start questions and then conversation. This requires the interviewer to be skilled and think on their feet and be able to think of questions that they would like to ask very quickly based on the response that they have been given. The advantage is it is more informal. It adds greater validity to participants, more likely to say what they want and more in detail, and this can be flexible and you can follow up. So for example, say if you said a question, they gave an answer, and then you, like, based on that answer, you'd say why to make them go into more detail. The disadvantages are it is harder to analyze and compare between participants, and it is very subjective. Small sample lengths, as it is time consuming and it is less representative, meaning that it only can be related to that participant and it is less generalizable to like the general public. The disadvantage, semi-structured. This is follow guide. This is where you follow a guide but allow scope for further questions to get more info. So you'd ask the question, and then if you feel you need more detail, then you'd ask more questions above that. Advantages, it's some guided questions for response. It's flexibility, respond or probe. Disadvantages are it's potentially very time consuming. and it requires a skilled interviewer to be able to think on their feet and think of questions quickly based on the answer that they've been given, to be able to get the correct answer that they wish. Another method of interviewing is where you use focus groups. These are groups-based. It's a group-based interview where the group interaction is essential. It tends to be semi-structured. This also will be able to look at the interaction of the participants and the social customs aspect to it. The advantages are it is consensus of opinion. So this would basically mean that if there was like if there was the general agreement of the group, and then there was one person who didn't agree, but because when he was asked on their opinion, he was asked on his opinion, because everyone else's opinion was different to his, he may just agree to them just because he doesn't want to seem like he's like the left one out. It enables you to observe group dynamics and the social customs of it. The disadvantages are it requires a very skilled reporter, and there is a lot of different bits to analyse, as there's loads of different things that are going on, and the results validity vary because of forced agreement. One way you would have to analyse it is because there's so much going on, you may have to go back and watch the interview again, which again would be very time consuming, and note down little bits that you would do. That's all of the observational quantitative methods done. I'm now going to move on to qualitative done. We're now going to move into qualitative observational techniques. Qualitative observational is behaviour that is observed. The first good thing about this is that there will be no manipulation of it, because they do not know that they are being observed, so therefore they'll be natural. The study setting is good. It's in their natural environment. So they will be natural. It's not like whereas when they would be in a laboratory environment where they'd be aware they were being studied, so they may change as a result of this. The role of the researcher, structure, you would receive the best kind of results. This could be also one thing you would get time sampling or event sampling. Time sampling is qualitative and event sampling is quantitative. There also will be some ethical issues, because you may have to gain consent of the people you are doing. There's confidentiality you'd also have to gain the confidentiality in consent, because the results are also going to be shared. And there is no deliberate manipulation, as they're in their natural environment, so you're not changing anything to gain the results that you wanted. The advantages are it is valid and it is in a natural setting. So again, like I said earlier, it's not in a lab and we are not changing the variables. This is a preliminary research tool. It could be seen to be quite time consuming and valid in what you are doing. It is not intrusive and it is in their natural setting. The disadvantages are it is difficult to replicate. So there are loads of confounding variables, and because you've done this like once and you haven't created it yourself, it's in their natural environment, it'd be difficult for people to replicate and prove that it is your results are valid by doing it again. You can also be observer bias, as you are observing it yourself, so you may, like with or without realizing you were doing it, you would be looking for certain things and results, so therefore this would make it unfair. There are a load of confounding variables that you cannot control, and there are also demand characteristics. So they may be trying to please the researcher and do things that are not natural, that they wouldn't normally do. Thanks for watching. That is the end of my presentation.